Are you going to be Liberace?
I hope so. We're all planning on it. Steven Soderbergh directing, Matt Damon, my partner in crime, and Jerry Weintraub. And yes, I think we're planning on doing it in June. Hopefully, we'll be shooting down here in Palm Springs.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
And piano lessons?
A lot of piano lessons coming up. I don't think we'll ever be able to. Maybe I'll get a lot of, you watch that hand, and not this one, But I'm really working on being able to lift my hand with the rings, Just have rings on. So we'll figure it out.
Now, before I go any further, there's obviously an elephant in the room. So I've got to ask you, how are you feeling?
I feel really good, Peter. Nice to be here. I found out just last Thursday. I had my PET scan and found out that the tumor is gone. And thank you. So I'm cancer free, but you have to check in every month for the first year, and so I think probably for me it's going to be 2 or 3 months before it kind of sinks in. But it's been a wild ride for the last 6 months. Was diagnosed at stage 4, so they had to kind of do some intensive amount of radiation and chemo. And I understand now what it is to be part of that family.
Do you have hope for the indie picture, as it's called?
I don't know. I've had 2 experiences in the last couple of years, and it's really hard because Solitary Man, which you're going to see tonight, which I'm really proud about, which was made at a really tight budget and originally in 32 days, and then of course the week before we were going to make it, it was down to 27 shooting days, and it's a lot to try to get accomplished. And the reality is that you make the picture, but unless there is a distributor, and the distributor is not going to put up any marketing dollars, it goes directly to DVD. So you're running sort of parallel with cable, with HBO or Showtime, which will pay you about the same amount of money that an independent will. I mean, you get a guaranteed audience of 4 to 12 million people. So I don't know. The only hope I have is that through the internet that there are going to be some other companies that are looking to create their own line of programming. So let's say that may be a couple of years away. But right now, the disparity between a studio film and a so-called independent picture is really enormous. And there's that large gap from, say, $25, $30 million budget to $65 million budget.
To $130 million. And Green Hornet. The Green Hornet is opening this weekend, and so if you go against them, you're going against $130 million.
You are, and what they are able to do, which with these marketing budgets, is if the picture is not tracking well, the studio picture is not tracking well, they can add $25 million to its advertising budget and get an opening. Mm-hmm. They'll get it open.
Yeah.
And the independent, just doesn't able to do that.
In choosing the characters you play, as with Solitary Man, you do show a disturbing fondness for sociopathic people. And you're very persuasive at it. Now, do you sort of have sort of a sociopath handbook that you...
I guess it's the hand you get dealt. I don't know. I make the comparisons, Kirk, in his beginning of his career, did several sensitive young men roles. Glass Menagerie, Strange Love of Martha Ivers, and these pictures. And it wasn't until 1950 he did a movie called The Champion, which was about his sixth picture, where he played a nasty fighter, which he got nominated for an Oscar. Similarly, I think early in my career, I did 2 or 3 pictures before I sort of slid into episodic television, and then got The Streets of San Francisco. And then after that, I did Cuckoo's Nest, and everybody asked me, well, why do you want to act? I mean, you got Academy Award as a producer, and I said, well, I like acting. I think maybe I have something to offer. And so, you know, I went along, and some of the pictures I started doing, and you have to remember then, going from television, as a television actor, to movies, wasn't easy. There wasn't many people who had done it before. Steve McQueen, as you mentioned, had done it, Clint Eastwood, but not many actors were able to make that transition. So after Cuckoo's Nest, I sort of, you know, used my producer skills for The China Syndrome, you know, to get a small acting role in a picture. And then Romancing the Stone, I couldn't get actors, you know, to do that part, and we're able to put it. No, I tried.
It's a brilliant movie.
Yeah, and we couldn't. And so again, they were, you know, using my strengths as a producer. So it wasn't really till '85, '86 with Fatal Attraction and Wall Street back to back, where I played a bad guy in Wall Street, and you know, an adulterer in Fatal Attraction, and I guess those were very successful and sort of put me at another level. And then those are the kind of parts that you kind of get offered more often.
Now, if you had to put 2 pictures of yours in a time capsule, which do you think you would select?
I think Falling Down would probably be in there. Falling Down, and I like The War of the Roses. You know, but I'm pretty proud of my batting average. You know, there's a few in there, and for some reason, I've just always stayed contemporary. I don't know why. Well, I did one period picture, which was a disaster, called Shining Through, which was a Turcola. And maybe that was the reason why, but I've just always done kind of contemporary pictures. My mentor was Carl Malden. Carl Malden was, yeah. We did, this television series was an hour show. It was shot in location in San Francisco. So it was 6-day weeks, 26 hours a season. So I did 104 hours with Carl. And this was a man who asked and demanded to have the next week's script that week. So every moment in between, we would work on the lines and run the lines for the following week. The writers hated us because the scripts ended up being 6 or 8 pages longer because we picked up our cues. So, you know, we knew our lines. But, you know, he was from Gary, Indiana, and he knew how fortunate, he knew what a great gig this was. So I learned so much from him, and he was the first one, back in those days, in the first Hawaii Five-O's and all of that, the second lead was like, you know, 2 steps back and soft focus. You know, they couldn't hold it that long, you know? And Carl was the first one to say, come on up here, give me a chance. And I directed some episodes with him. And that whole experience, the Quinn Martin production experience and being up there, I was shocked at how much I had learned about producing, about, you know, because a 52-minute television show shot in 6 days, it's like a miniature movie, and the moves and putting it all together. So when I left the show to do Cuckoo's Nest, it was amazing how much I'd learned.
Yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg, I don't know, and he came in, and yeah, he's just great. And what it is he, amongst other things, is he's a great listener. Mm-hmm. And the art of listening by actors is becoming obsolete. And it was one of the advices my followers gave me. You always tell a good actor by watching him how well he listens.
It's interesting.
Catherine and I would still like to do a picture together. You know, the history of movies with husbands and wives has not been great, but I see... What's that, darling?
I have a statement or a question. I find it shocking that you would put the War of the Roses in a you want to kill me?
But I think we'll still try to find a picture together, but I think it'll probably be, she'll have, you know, I'll be, you know, lusting for her, but she's going to have some young lover who I'm going to have to kill.